My name is Sooah Weems. I believe I have met most of you in the support chat. If you are taking advantage of our robust customer support team through email or chat, and I'll be your presenter today. In this webinar, I will review managing API keys, enabling MFA for employees, how to add Advertiser IP Whitelist, and a brief introduction to Google sign-in and single sign-on, and upcoming webinars. Now we'll start with managing API keys and MFAs. Some of you might be already using API to benefit your company or yourself. You might be pulling data from Everflow into a different data analytics program that you are taking advantage of, or you might have a different reporting system, you want to see things in person, or you just like efficiency and like to use API to access to multiple things in the UI or create new offers, partners, signups, custom settings. I mean, the applications is limitless. And to do that, what you need is a network API key. Another feature that we're going to review in this section is MFA, or Multi-Factor Authentication, which is a great feature if you care about security of your company and your account, which you should. So we'll go straight into the platform so you can see it in person. First, you open up a left-hand menu and then go to Control Center and select the security menu. If you do not see this menu, it's likely that you don't have access. To remedy that, go to Control Center, Accounts, and move to Roles. Select the role you're applied to, and make sure that under Control Center, Security is selected and given full access. After that, you'll save. Once that's configured, you want to refresh your browser to ensure that the new role can take effect. Now, when we go to Control Center Security, right away you see the API Keys tab, and there is that button. It says plus API Key. Let's name this one Webinar Key. You'll be asked to select an employee. Note that the name, the access the employee has will apply to the API key as well, although you can separately grant more permissions that this API can access to. Now, let's say you want to give all permissions. After that, you hit Create API Key, which will show an API key. Make sure when you're creating this key, you are copying and keeping it somewhere safe and secure, because this API key will not be visible again. Everflow team will not know what API key you're using for security reasons as well. So you cannot reach out and say, hey, what's the API key for me? We would not know. So please make sure that you copy and paste this key in somewhere safe and secure to make calls. And once that's done, when creating key is done, you'll be taken back to the API keys section. You also see that there is an API Whitelist tab. What does this do? Great question. On this question, and some of you might have guessed it, you can specify the IP that API calls can be made. And once you create a whitelist, those IPs that are not specified or don't meet the criteria here will not be able to make the API call to Everflow. So if you have a strict policy, or you know exactly which IP the API call should be made from, this will be a good place to specify that for added security. Logins tab literally shows the different login attempts from your employees and their locations, user agent, if it's coming from existing device, etc. So this would be a good place to check if there has been any suspicious activities within your organization. Now moving on to multi-factor authentication. Note that Everflow can support network level, which is you, Everflow customer, affiliate level, and advertiser level. Within the UI, only network level MFA can be enabled by the user. If you like to extend that and enable affiliate and advertiser level MFA, please reach out to Everflow support and we can take care of that for you. Now, as far as the network level NFA goes, all you have to do is go to edit, enable, which is already done for this particular account, and you will be given the option to choose the methods of MFA. It can be SMS or Google Authenticator, whichever works for organization, though this one provides typically more security than SMS. Once that's done, going forth, your employees or network users will be asked to set up an MFA when next time they log in. You can see the status and the employee, which method they used it, and IP, country, user agent, and more information of when they're completed. So you can manage who's done it and who's not done it, so there can be no confusion. Now, that will be MFA. Going back to our presentation here. Oopsies. Another feature that could be good to keep in mind, especially applicable when working with server postbacks for an advertiser, is Advertiser IP Whitelisting. What this does and how is it different from an API IP whitelisting from what we just looked at? This one is applicable to advertiser level, and it's specific to where your conversions are coming from, versus API IP whitelist refers to where the API calls are being made. So there is a certain difference. So to access this menu, and we'll review this in the platform as well together in a second, go to advertisers, select an advertiser, go to IP's whitelist and edit, which will be this screen right here. List up the allowed IP addresses and hit save. And here is how it looks like. Go to advertiser, can manage, or if you know your advertiser ID, you can certainly search like this. If you scroll down on the general tab, you see the IP's whitelist menu. Hit edit. You can see that you can list up the any number of IP addresses that need to be whitelisted for advertiser. A good use case, for example, would be if you're working with an app campaign. Let's say that you're working with a client who is using AppsFlyer as an MMP, and you are receiving postback from AppsFlyer to Everflow. There are specific IP addresses that AppsFlyer will use to fire these postbacks. You can certainly whitelist them here, and knowing that any postbacks that are not coming from the configured IP will be invalidated, which adds to your security and helps you be a little bit more safe than somebody who's trying to imitate a conversion. And safe. Going back to this, now we're going to quickly review the external identity provider for social logins at Everflow, and I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware of this yet, but we now allow sign in with Google. You probably have seen this little button, whether it's with Google, Meta, or even Apple, everywhere that you have to log in. Now, even with Everflow, you can sign in with your Google account. It takes 0 set of time. All you have to do is reach out to Everflow support and say, hey, I would like to enable sign in with Google, or I would like to enable social login with Google. It is convenient, especially when you're already using Google email or any other platforms to begin with, and let's face it, most of us are. And it allows you to log in using a single email without having to go back and forth. But I do want to mention that you still have to create a network user account within Everflow with the same Google email in order for this feature to be used. Now, another option we offer is single sign-on, or called SSO. We probably are all aware, but let me just go over this for the sake of this. SSO, or with single sign-on, the user signs in into a central authentication system. And we'll go over the examples of those systems in a bit. After that, the user can access any connected applications or services without being prompted for additional login credentials, meaning that once you log into the central authentication system, you won't have to log into another application or platform if they're connected. An example of central authentication system would be Google Workspace, which is a bit different from Google Mail. And it does require dev assistance from our end and also to the company's end. So that is something to keep in mind. Accounts are created and managed in the central authentication system, and you can also manage activation or deactivation of that account as well. Currently, we can support multiple systems like Azure, Google, Okta. If you or company is interested in single sign-on but are not using these systems, please still reach out to us. We can work with whatever system you work with and happy to do so. That being said, we are coming to almost an end of this webinar. There are more to come, however, so no need to frown. This month alone, we are having 3 more webinars. On the 2nd of April, scaling lead generation with Everflow. 23rd, new feature spotlight. So that'll be one that you might not want to miss to plan out your 2025 and the rest of the quarters and years. And media buying webinar, partner UI edition on April 30th. If you're working with media buying companies or partners, or even if you are doing media buying in-house, but using Everflow to bring all the data together in one place so you can optimize and make better business decisions, this would be a good place to be on April 30th as well. Thank you for joining me on the webinar today on Security 101. I hope this helped you keeping your account and company safe. Thank you.